In the 17th century, the Dutch Republic was the wealthiest nation in Europe. Trade flourished, canals buzzed with commerce, and the famous tulip mania was just around the corner. But before the world was stunned by tulips, another, lesser-known economic bubble burst, one so absurd it was literally based on thin air. The 1600s marked the height of the Dutch Golden Age. Amsterdam was a global financial hub. The Dutch East India Company dominated the seas. Innovation was everywhere, including in the world of finance. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange was the first of its kind. Merchants traded not just goods but futures, shares, and options. It was the birth of modern capitalism. And with that innovation came speculation, and eventually, fraud. Windhandel, literally meaning wind trade, was the name given to a bizarre financial phenomenon where people began buying and selling shares. That didn't even exist. Speculators would sell shares in companies or ventures that hadn't been created yet, or worse, never would be. These were phantom shares, paper promises of future profits from ventures as vague as shipping or spice imports. Men kocht en verkocht wind, aan de lucht was geveld met fortuinen. People bought and sold wind, and the air was filled with fortunes. Initially, the windhandel seemed like easy money. People saw others making profits and joined in. Prices for these imaginary shares rose rapidly. Everyone wanted in: merchants, bakers, servants, even widows. Speculators would resell their non-existent shares at higher prices. Contracts were traded multiple times a day. It became a self-feeding frenzy, until reality struck. When buyers stopped trusting that these phantom shares would pay off, the entire market crumbled. Like a house built on clouds, the windhandel collapsed under the weight of its own illusion. Many lost their fortunes overnight. Lawsuits flooded the courts. Trust in the financial markets suffered a blow. The Dutch government intervened, banning some forms of speculative trading. Though overshadowed by the more famous tulip mania, the windhandel was arguably more sophisticated and more dangerous. It exposed how easily trust and speculation could inflate markets to absurd heights. By the 1720s, similar bubbles emerged across Europe, like the South Sea bubble in Britain and the Mississippi bubble in France. But the Dutch had already learned their lesson: don't build fortunes on air. Today, markets are more complex, more digital, and more global. But the essence of the windhandel remains relevant. Whenever profit becomes disconnected from reality, we risk repeating the mistakes of the past. Windhandel, proof that even in the age of reason, people could still believe in bubbles made of nothing but wind. Subscribe to the Fellow Investors for more untold stories from financial history. And remember, not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes, it's just air.